The data that you have put forth in the study is obviously compelling. And the reaction that you have expressed, Steve, is equally compelling because it's coming from your perspective in the business, understanding all the mechanics of the growth of our economy. Yet we sit around and talk about why is it that some organizations don't get it? Why is it that this is not as widely known and understood? And you spend a lot of time, as I said earlier, with CEOs and boards of directors and policymakers. And I have to ask you, what advice would you have for us in trying to get that cohort educated? The people making these very, very macro decisions that will ultimately impact not only the population, but also the growth of the economy.
I think reports like the Peterson report, I was giving Jacob my condolences that in order to give credibility to their historic findings, he had to have about 8 pages of equations and methodology to show that, give it a patent of, but that's what you have to do to get these words out. But in especially this high-tech age, the word's going to get out very quickly, especially when you use statistics. If you just take Latino GDP, a huge community. You take startups, Latino entrepreneurs, huge and growing, going utterly against the stereotype. I think that word's going to spread fairly quickly. And that this whole thing of myths or stereotypes of 40, 50 years ago are being blasted away. In fact, what probably delayed the recognition was precisely until recently the wave of immigration from Mexico and Central America and elsewhere, where you come into this country with few skills, so you're starting, which skews income numbers. When you're 20, you learn, general rule, you earn less than when you're 40 or 50. And so that probably skewed the picture, even though those who had come started to move up. You had newcomers coming in that seemed to keep the average low. So that all is changing. And I think something like this, it's going to get around, especially in the word viral. You're going to see it become pretty quick.
Do you think it will reach these boards? Do you think they'll reach the boards of directors?
The nice thing about free markets is if you see if you're told there's an opportunity, somebody's going to figure it out. And if an existing board is not going to figure it out, an outlier entrepreneur is going to figure it out. As you know, research shows often the biggest disruptors are those outside of an industry breaking in than those who think they already know. As my father liked to say, if you think you've arrived in business, you're ready to be shown the door. Things don't stay the same. So I don't worry about boards. If they don't get it, new boards are coming. And one of the things the Kaufman studies have found, in which I hope we can but regenerate, is one of the great dynamisms of the American economy, different from us and even from much of Asia, is that every generation we create in this country 50 to 75 new big companies. Obviously they start small, but they become the giants of tomorrow. And you look at Google and others, they didn't exist 20 years ago. Now our FANGs are taking over the world. They're doing this, that, and the other. That's a sign of success in this country when you get to be a big company and people fear you're taking over the world. But that is an advantage that we have, and so I don't worry about existing boards. The new ones will come along and replace them if they don't wake up to the opportunity.
So I thank you very much for those remarks. I'm going to